And welcome to Midwest Fair Talk Radio here on the Midwest Fair Talk Radio Network. I'm the G Man. That is Deb. Welcome to a special broadcast for New Year's Eve, last day of 2024. Say good riddance to you and all
I
that
was gonna
jazz.
I was gonna go to the store and find myself a crown to wear and some noisemakers or something like that, but I don't like people enough to do that. Not today.
You're gonna I pushed the wrong button. Imagine that. I'm telling you, man, I got gremlins tonight, just so everybody knows. Welcome to everybody over there on the Facebook and on Twitch. Welcome to the show. We weren't going to go buy extra shit for New Year's. We never do.
No,
I
but
mean,
I
I didn't
wanted
even
to wear
think
a crown, dude. Hold on.
we just kind of.
We had people over.
Oh
What about
my
you? You used to party it up in your old hippie stage of your life.
oh yeah. My house used to be the house to go to on New Year's Eve because I had a big basement. So all of my friends had kids. We all had kids about the same age.
Yeah.
When the kids were 6, 7 years old, we'd come over and we'd have like a carry and pitch in, and we'd all just, eat till we were sick with just all kinds of crap. And then we'd throw the kids down in the basement with the video games and all the other toys down there they could play until they passed out. And the grown-ups would sit up and play games, board games like Pictionary and
Yeah.
Scattergories. And
Strip poker.
later on, when the kids were teenagers and stuff, we go to mom and dad's and we play poker for money. And like my family was fucking vicious. I mean,
Yeah.
excuse my French, but I mean, they would take your damn rent money. They don't care. They
Oh,
did
wow.
not care who you were. And if you were dumb enough to play, knowing this, then you got what you deserve.
Right. If you were dumb enough to play, then you were dumb enough to lose
Yeah.
your money.
And then they got tired of poker after a while. And so my family decided to play Yahtzee for money.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, like seriously, it was like down and dirty Yahtzee, man. These
Yeah.
people were ruthless.
Wow. See, I
But
could
anyway,
never.
we'd have fun, and then I don't know, maybe an hour or so. Like I particularly remember 1999 because the world was going to end at
Right.
midnight.
Yeah.
So what the hell? Cut loose, right? So we
Right.
moved all the furniture out of the living room and made it into this big ass dance floor and had the music playing blasting loud, the kids down in the basement. And we were playing, I remember as the stroke of midnight came, because of course you had to have Dick Clark on the TV. I don't care what you were doing. And you could be playing music and everything, but you had to have Dick Clark
Right.
on the TV, right? So
Didn't necessarily have to hear them, but you had to watch them.
yeah. So, like, 2 minutes before the ball drops, we turn Prince 1999 on because Prince, and, I mean, we
Right.
were mad. I was a mad fan anyway. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were playing party appropriate songs to dance to, like Celebration and all kinds of stuff like that. But at the stroke of midnight, we had 1999 on. So we danced in the year 2000 to Prince. And then when all the festivities were over, I don't know if this was a tradition where y'all are from, but my peoples at midnight we all grabbed our pots and pans and our wooden spoons and whatnot and ran outside and banged the shit out of them uh, to ring in the new year. And we'd open the back door and the front door so we could scare the old out through the front door and let the new come in the back door.
Right.
So, and I remember one time when I was a teenager, now I was the party place to go when we were young adults and adults, and then mom's was the party place to go after we got too old to give a shit,
Right.
and so then, but when I was a teenager, my BFF's house was the party place. And I remember one New Year's in particular, there was snow on the ground, and the boy that I was supposed to be dating was a little tipsy. And it was getting to be about midnight, and he was running up and down Belmar Street ringing a bell in his underwear.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And then at the stroke, we had ordered a bunch of pizzas, and like right at midnight, the pizza dude decides to show up, right? So it's where everybody's like, "Woo, Happy New Year, yay, yay," kissing everybody and all that. And
Right.
dude shows up with his arm full of pizzas, and we grabbed him and drug him into the living room, and all the girls were kissing him, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And we took his pizzas. He left and forgot to take his money.
Oh God.
We made sure he got paid, but you know, we threw him for a loop in that one. He wasn't expecting it.
Right.
So yeah, we've had, and my group that, you know, I was hanging around with at the time, my friends, we're still friends now, 50 some years.
Mhm.
I remember, you know, the guy running up and down the street in his underwear in the snow ringing the bell was later, you know, hurling in a bucket in the living room on the floor while everybody else sat around and ate pizza. We're like, "Hey Lee, you gonna eat that?"
Wow.
We didn't care. So yeah, I've done some interesting stuff in my life, especially around New Year's Eve. It's just recently that I don't know, probably in my 50s, I started feeling like, it's a little too peoply out there for me. I don't know. And then I
Right.
started calling it amateur night, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was kind of scary to go out there and drive around knowing all these first time drunks were out there, you know, behind the wheel. And so I got to the point where and then my husband, you know, he's like 9 years older than me. He started going to bed early. He went to bed at 6:30 tonight. But so I was left to my own devices and didn't really want to go anywhere. So I would sit up on my computer and I watched for years EarthCam. You remember EarthCam?
Yeah. Earth. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I peeked in on it earlier tonight, actually, and checking out Times Square just to see what it looked like.
Mhm.
And I always remember thinking, damn, I'm glad I'm not there, because I'd be the one that have to pee, and I'd end up peeing on myself. I'd have to wear diapers if I went to Times Square. That's just, there's
Oh
no
hell
way.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
do.
D has been. Haven't you been?
No, one of my friends went,
But you literally, if you move from the spot that you're
and you lose it. You're blocked
you're
out.
stalled off into groups, and if you have to pee and you leave that, you can't get back in it. So you have to literally stand there and piss yourself or shit yourself, and wear depend diapers there, so you didn't have to get out of line.
Totally, yeah. Because I would not, if I made the effort to get there, I would not be going nowhere. Y'all, we have to
You know what?
stand there next to me.
If I was young enough to make the decision to go, see, when you get a little older, sometimes you don't have that decision to make. It just happens. But if you were able-bodied and not, have a broke body or anything, I would choose to stay home anyway. I don't want to stand out and shit myself while I'm waiting for some freaking ball to drop down in the middle of Times
Not
Square.
exactly a joiner, honey.
Oh, I
am
would have
not.
loved it.
I'm a joiner. I do a live radio show, and I join Deb every week.
That's not the same.
I'm in a ghost hunting team, and I go on investigations.
Yeah,
That's joining.
that's about right now. That's probably about the
I don't care if it's all I do.
that's the top tier of my peopliness. Peopling is that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go to I
Right.
don't go to Walmart. It's
She
just
is a
frightening.
sister. Oh, I fucking don't go to Walmart either. They can no.
But I did have to go to Sam's Club because I do like their paper towels, the big orange roll, the giant, like 24 pack or whatever. But I do that shop and scan, so I don't have to get near people.
Right.
So I'm
all our shopping.
scanning my shit as I go along, and then I just walk right out the door. And people are like, "Where?" Because
See, we don't even do that shit. We do the Walmart pickup, so I don't have to go into the store.
I did the Myers. Myers is the grocery store closest to me, and it especially during COVID when everything was shut down. I didn't go nowhere because I'm old. Especially when I had COVID, I didn't want to give it to somebody. And I did the shopping through Myers, and I think Myers uses Instacart? Oh, how festive. I don't
I'm
know
trying
what
to
they
find a New
use.
Year's Eve one.
Yeah, I don't know what Myers uses, but it was great. And if it
Yeah,
didn't cost, $10 extra, I would do it all the time.
right.
Sometimes
Well,
I
see,
get coupons for free delivery, and I will use it
yeah.
because I like that. And I've been lucky. I've had shoppers, and my shoppers have been great. My shoppers, they shop like me. They'll send me 800 texts with pictures. Do you like the looks of this head of lettuce better than this head of lettuce? You know what I'm
Really?
saying? I'm like, girl, I love you. I think once you've done it enough times and they know you tip good, if they see your name, they snatch you up real quick. So I keep getting the same couple girls,
Right.
I tip them good because they shop like me. I would almost like to kind of do that, except for, I don't really like
People.
people. Except for people, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I feel that.
I would
I
be a
can't tell
great
you.
shopper because I'm so picky.
I can't tell you the last time I was actually in a Walmart, like
Oh,
in Walmart to do shopping. It's been over a year.
I've got one right across from the Myers, but I don't think I've had. It's probably been almost a year since I've been in there. Maybe I don't know. There's just something about it gives me
Man,
the creeps. I don't know. I'll probably be in trouble now.
this is
Excuse me.
something's going on with Restream because I'm missing overlays and I can't get the virtual background to work.
It must be on your end because I'm not. Have you updated the? Well, it's not an app. Never mind. I'm like,
I wish it was a software download. I mean, I
yeah,
understand why it's not, but I mean, I would totally wish that they would do that because
make an app. Yeah.
yeah. So we're streaming live both on all three Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube now. Everything is
Groovy.
groovy. So
Ubi. Yep,
yeah, I
it's
don't
New Year's Eve, and I'm like, I told Greg we were messing around with this the other day. And we were gonna maybe do a show, and then we both decided, no. And I'm like,
right.
hey, let's do one on New Year's Eve because I know I'll be bored shitless.
Well, I
Well, you got Dee, God love her. She's a doll, and she's there, and Dave
I
is
like
did you hear?
what?
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too, honey. You need to come to my house and bring your dumb cake. My son loved that.
I tell you what, I think we're gonna try and do some kind of like a Bips pitch in, and I asked
Oh,
D to make that.
I'll tell you what, my son still talks about it. What has that been, like 10 years?
Oh yeah,
He's still talking. Hey, Mom, you remember that? Do you still know that lady that made that?
right.
I do.
Tell her to come back. Made the Oreo mud
Oh,
pudding
yeah,
thing.
that was good.
Oh yeah.
That was originally Marnie's idea.
Was it really?
Uh-huh. I got it from her.
Wow. Not talked to her in years.
I know.
Oh my God. When she said the name Marty, I'm like, oh my goodness. I haven't heard that name in a age and a half.
I ain't heard that name in a coon's age.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I think the last time, honestly, that I talked to her is when we went to Mackey's.
Really?
Yep.
You know
'Cause
what?
we
I
went
read somewhere
long
the other
after
day
that.
that they are going to rebuild Mackey's on the site.
Are they?
That's what I read because I remember talking about it with you, and I guess they're somewhere else temporarily. That but the bigger plan is to come
Yeah,
back
they're in
there.
Florence,
And
Kentucky right now,
yeah,
and their place that they have is brand new. It looked like. I mean, it's really nice. I can't imagine that he would go back to that location.
I know. I was surprised when I read that. I can't remember. Of course, you can't believe everything you see on the internet. I only saw it in one place, and then
Right.
just logged it in my head to mention it to you later. But that's down in that weird kind of tri-state area, like when I go down there to speak in July. It's
Yeah, you're
billed
going to
as
be in that area.
Yeah, it's billed as um uh Covington, Kentucky is actually where
Yeah.
they're at, where they are, advertising
And
that it's going to be, but yet I'm told it's basically metropolitan Cincinnati.
it's like what it is here. Because if you're in Evansville, like even right here where we're at, we could
Mhm.
spit in the Ohio, and then Kentucky's right on the other side. It takes me 12 minutes to get from our house to Owensboro, Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, we're right on the border, so we're kind of in the same situation, and they call it the tri-state because it takes an hour and 15 minutes to get to Illinois. It takes, bless you,
Bless you.
12 minutes to get to Kentucky, and then of course we're in shithole Indiana.
Yeah. You can tell you
Sorry.
when you're driving, you can tell when you get into Indiana because it automatically starts to go like that, man. Our roads are shit.
There's shit all over the place, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he does rebuild. I mean, I'd like to. If they start doing tours and stuff again, I wouldn't mind going down to Kentucky again.
I mean, he had to make some money doing that. I mean,
oh yeah, because I can't remember. Look at me, got my eyebrows all caught up in my hat, and I look like from Captain Kangaroo with the eyebrows.
I drew mine on tonight, so I wasn't scared the little
I might
kid.
just shave mine off and then paint mine on like Deb.
Except I shaved mine off when I was 15, and they didn't grow back.
Oh,
So, like
nice.
they did sparsely back in
Quit
my
lying.
day.
You look like a white Whoopi Goldberg.
I do, without my eyebrows drawn on for real. I mean, back in the 70s when I was in high school, because
Mhm.
I'm old, back in 75, 74, thin eyebrows was the thing, and that's how we got them. Girls didn't like tweezing their eyebrows because that shit hurt. So they just take the little razor and do. Like one time I slipped and I'm like, oh shit. And from that point on, I had to learn how to draw.
You look like Vanilla Ice with the two little lines cut up in your shit.
Ice.
You know,
baby.
right. Remember last week when we were talking about, I was like, man, I'm surprised some of these hillbillies ain't getting out here and shooting down some of these drones.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen 2 or 3 stories in the last couple of days where the hillbillies have gotten out and start shooting down these drones.
I am not surprised in the least. I mean, we've already had it's New Year's Eve, and at like 6:30 tonight, let the explosions begin. I got some dude lives behind me that's a pyromaniac. Last year it was like a 4th of July festival in my back. This shit was laying on my roof, and it kind of me off. That pissed me off. So that he already started blowing some stuff up about 6:30 tonight, and all of a sudden one of them sounded like TNT, and I looked over at Dave. I said, that sounded like a mistake. I wonder if somebody that lost a finger because they never set anything else off.
Mess around and sit out there and play AC/DC for him as he's doing it. Get a bullhorn and be like, hey, for all the fireworks you drop on my roof, I'm gonna need you over here in the morning up on the ladder getting that shit off.
Yeah, for real. I did. There was one bottle rocket on my roof this last 4th of July the next morning because I got up to look around and I thought, these people ever set my house on fire? It's on like Donkey Kong.
You a damn lie. You ain't climbing no ladder.
My house ain't that big.
No, it isn't really.
I mean, I could do
ranch. It. Yeah, it's a ranch.
So. I could do it. I could get up on my roof with the ladder. Now, the old farmhouse out there where I used to live, no way. We had to have scaffolding just to paint the damn thing.
Right.
It was huge.
I remember that.
I miss it. I drove by it the other day and I thought about it and about all the nights we spent out there around the big fire pit watching the sky. I love the sky watch. I can't do that really much here. I just told you I want to tell our listeners I took my son to work this evening and the sun was gone. It was dark out, but it wasn't like dead dark, like 6 o'clock or something like that. Have to drive by the Kokomo Mall to take him where I got to drop him off because he's currently sans car for the moment. So, but we were driving past the mall. All the parking lot lights were already on. But as we were driving by, the whole front end of the parking lot, all the lights started flashing on and off, really crazy, like all of them. And as we drove past, they were flashing all along the side. And I'm like, dude, check out those parking lot lights. He's like, that looks just like those videos I saw on TikTok where the drones were flying over that Lowe's parking lot.
Yeah.
And all the lights in the parking lot were flashing. Only
Right.
there was like 2 cars in the parking lot. There wasn't hardly any cars in the parking lot. So I didn't notice that there were any car lights flashing because I didn't really see any cars. But the parking lot lights were flashing like that. And I said, ooh, I wonder if there's drones up overhead. Because we can't see shit. We haven't seen the sun for a week. It's been raining here.
Right.
It's ridiculous. We got 2 inches of rain today. And
Yeah.
I just saw that they're predicting now we may have a major winter storm here Sunday.
Oh yeah, there's some nasty. There's a big Arctic blast coming down,
and we're like going to be pretty much right at the top edge, middle of it. So we're going to get it.
We're going to get it for a couple days, but it looks like the southern jet stream from the Gulf is going to push it up away from us. So the most we'll get is a little rain, but I don't think we'll get as much snow as what is being predicted. We're going to get ice. Ice is a bitch down here.
Oh my God. I hate ice. I'd rather drive in a foot of snow than a quarter of an inch of ice.
Well, what scares me is that none of these efforts down here can drive.
They don't get snow.
Yeah. I mean, even
we didn't get hardly any snow last year.
no, we got maybe 5 inches of snow the entire season, and it wasn't at the same time. But the thing is that even when it rains down here in the summertime, people lose their minds. It's like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, God damn, dude, the light is green. Why are you? What are you doing? Or they're going 35 and a 60. Oh, Jesus!
I want to roll my window down and stick my head out the window and say, "Put your 2 left tires on the snow. Put your 2 left tires on the snow. You'll be fine. Right? Get over."
Dee and I drove back and forth to work when we both worked at Lilly, and it was 5-6 inches of snow and still snowing when we were going to work.
Yeah.
And it was more than that on our way home. Of course, it took us an hour and 45 minutes to do a 25-minute drive, but still, you get maybe a quarter inch down here, and these fools are like,
during the blizzard of 78, I worked at Xerox Distribution Center in Indianapolis on Shadeland, 21st and Shadeland. Yep. And I remember that day when we left for work that morning, it was just forecast for snow flurries. And by noon, they're like, oh my God, it's a blizzard. And so they let us go home early. And normally it took me 10 minutes to get home from where I lived. The fireworks have started.
How they really?
Normally it took me 10 minutes to get home, and that day it took me an hour and 15 minutes for a 10-minute drive. And first of all, I had to wait for them to dig me to get out of the parking lot. So yeah, it was exciting. We didn't have any power for 10 days. And when you don't have power for 10 days and you have a well and a septic tank, that means you can't.
You're shitting in a bucket.
You ain't got no water. You can't go dookie doo. You have to go outside and dig a hole.
Right.
It was awful.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they did, like I said, the morning of, all we got was, it's going to be a snow flurries, and maybe a little light snow. And by the end of the day, it was a blizzard. So that shows you how much weather prediction has improved over the last half a century. I don't know what is that.
My dumbass aunt, she was maybe 14, 15, 16 at the time, bundled me up, and our asses were walking to the Hooks drugstore on 30th and Georgetown Road for stupid something. I don't even remember why, but the snow was up to my knees at that time, just snowing to beat the band. The old man, he got caught at work. They wouldn't let him leave. So he was there like 3 or 4 days on the job. We didn't run out. We always had power and we always had water that I can remember. but yeah, it was crazy.
My dad would go out and get water and bring it in buckets from
Yeah.
somewhere else, and then finally he got a generator, and he could run it enough that we could draw up some water. We had a wood burning fireplace, so we were
Okay.
good on the heat. But
Do you have dirt
Did-
ground?
huh?
Do you have dirt floors?
No, I did not have dirt floors, you asshole.
Okay. In one one room schoolroom.
I walked 20 miles to school barefoot.
Uphill, both ways, barefoot, 18 inches of snow.
You know what? It sucks. Winter, living where we live, and being paranormal investigators and wanting to go do investigations, wintertime just really sucks. It really does. I can remember going on. First of all, I hate it when you got to drive anywhere like 30 minutes away and then all of a sudden it's snowing. That sucks. Nice. But also, like, there were a couple of places that we investigated that didn't have any heat.
Yeah.
I want to say the Crump Theater did not have. Did the Crump have heat at the time? I can't remember.
I don't remember. I never went to the Crump in the wintertime. I went twice, and it was always in like July, August.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in the fall.
Not for me.
But yeah, so that's kind of sucky. I guess it must be the slow season for paranormal investigators in
I don't know about that.
Snowy areas.
We've been busy all winter long. It seems like one investigation after another. It started off with the roads. We've had 2 other investigations. We got one coming up next weekend.
Where at?
Private residence in Princeton. And generally, though, you're 100% right. Is during the wintertime, the paranormal investigating comes to a screeching halt, and everybody goes into their hibernation stages. This season is a little weird. Like, I've not seen this much activity being reported in the wintertime as I have this year, and we've been doing this a long time.
I mean, I wonder if it's tied to the UFO activity that's gotten like off the chain here lately. I mean, Casey was saying to me tonight, when we were talking about the lights and the drone activity and all that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm seeing a lot of things on the internet that say that these drones and stuff are UFOs. And I'm like, well, truthfully, nobody really knows what they are.
Somebody knows.
Somebody knows, but it ain't nobody we know.
Right.
And they ain't going to tell us nothing. But
we're not important enough for that.
But it's, I think it's a bit of several different things, and I think UFOs could be definitely one of them. And I'm wondering if, since paranormal activity seems to be amped up a bit, I wonder if there's a connection with the energy,
Yeah, it very well could be.
I've had a couple of really weird lucid dreams here just in the last couple of days.
You ain't gonna try and tell me about none of your weird ones, are you?
Yeah, I am actually, but it's not bad.
We don't need some adult content up in here.
Well, it's actually not like that, really. Did I tell you about this? The one I had? See, this is weird because I don't know why I have gotten it in my head that intention is everything. And for some reason, the universe keeps throwing these videos in my path for me to see of people talking about, string theory and quantum physics and how particles behave one way when they're observed, but behave another way when they're not observed, and how the observer is a part of what's happening. In other words, you can take that further and say, you are creating or you're helping to manifest however this behavior is, with your thoughts, what I'm saying? And so, the universe has been throwing these kinds of videos and stuff in my path here lately. And it's just weird. And I'd gotten it in my head, and I don't know where it came from, but I tell myself 3 nights in a row I've done this, and 2 nights, or well, this will be the 3rd night. 2 nights in a row I've done this, and 2 nights I've had weird little quick lucid dreams at the end of my sleep cycle. And what I do is right before when I feel like I'm about to keel over, when I'm really on the edge, I say to myself 3 times, I say it out loud. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to wake up in the very best timeline for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to wake up in the very best timeline for me. And then I may add, like, I'm going to wake up in the timeline where I'm happy and things are good and I have health. You know, I mean, I'm really just going at it. I'm putting this in my brain and this intention in my mind before I go to sleep. I haven't really noticed anything different when I wake up, but I've had these groovy, weird little dreams.
Yeah.
And this one was, it's not X-rated. I'll just read it. Right before I woke up, I dreamed that there was a man knocking on my front door. And it seemed like I was expecting him. I wasn't afraid. And I was excited and happy to see him. And he was all smiling and he seemed really happy and excited to see me as well. And I flew the door open and I ran toward him, jumped up into his arms as he grabbed me. And I had wrapped my arms around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And he picked me up. And the weird thing was, I'm 5'2.5".
Right.
I've lost a half inch, But anyway, this dude was like over 7 feet tall. He was like so tall that he would have to duck down to come into my house in the doorway. Right. He was thin. He was thinnish, but clearly strong because he picked my big butt up, and was holding me. And he had like medium length black hair and he had big dark eyes, not like alien big dark eyes, but just dark eyes.
Right.
And he was definitely very, very obviously of Asian descent. He had that Asian features.
Yeah.
And he was wearing black, silky, billowy pants. They were pants, but they were silky, like, and kind of billowy.
Yeah.
And a beautiful, silky, billowy, cobalt blue shirt. And it was also silky, and it felt silky and shiny. It was really nice. I thought he was exquisite. He looked fabulous. And I remember, I said, I don't remember whether I said this out loud or I was thinking it, but I said, thank God it's about time. And then bam, I woke up and it was the end of the dream. I mean, and when I woke up, I thought, damn it. I didn't want to wake up,
Right.
I mean, it was great to see him. I was just so happy and excited and I felt relief. And I did. I either thought or said, it's about time, because I literally jumped into this man's arms. So that was what I had the night before.
Yeah.
And now the one that happened the first time that I said this and went to bed the night before that, it was exactly at 8:00 in the morning. And I was awakened by the sound of one of my son's voice, like literally yelling in my ear, Mom. And it woke me up. It was so loud. And I thought it was Casey, my son. It could have been Robbie. When they both yell Mom like that, they kind of sound the same to me, Yeah. I knew it was my son.
Right.
I popped up out of bed right away. It looked at the clock. It was exactly 8:00 in the morning. So I got up and I walked into the living room. Dave was in there piddling around and I said, is Casey home? And he said, yeah. I said, what time did you get home? He said, about 6:30 because he works nights.
Right.
So I went into the bedroom and I looked in there and he was asleep. And I opened, I said, Casey. Like, what? I said, did you come in my room and call my name? He goes, do I look like I just came in your room? I was trying to sleep. And I thought, damn it. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, so that was the end of that. But then I got to thinking, I even texted my other son. And because I thought, oh my God, if not Casey, what if it's my son? You know, telepathically, there's something wrong. I'm just connected to people that I love like that. That happens, you know? So I texted my other son. I'm like, hey, are you okay? And I thought, I hope he texts me back soon. Yeah, I don't know what it is about these kids, but sometimes when you text them, they might answer you and they might not. But fortunately, he did right away. Robbie's gotten a lot better about that over the years. I think the guy get older, he's afraid I'm going to croak, so he answers you. But he said, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine, Mom. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then I thought, that is weird as hell. But then after I was up and awake and more, you know, with it, I remembered that when I had driven Casey to work the night before, Casey said, I think I died last night, Mom. And I said, what do you mean you think you died last night? Which scares me. He's staying with me right now, but he's a 45-year-old man. He's a diabetic. He has, you know, blood pressure.
Right.
You know, spring chicken. And I'm like, what do you mean you think you died last night? Give me a heart attack. And he says, I said, why did you think that? Do you feel all right? And he goes, yeah, I feel all right. He goes, but I woke up last night and I was standing over my body. And I said, what? He said, I was like in the air above my body, looking down at my body. And I'm like, what the hell? And I said, that sounds like a out of body experience. And he said, what's that? And so I described it to him. And he's like, oh, that's
dream walking,
you know. And he said, well, it freaked me out. And as soon as I got freaked out, I woke up. And I'm like, well, that's usually how it works. You know, I've had that happen a couple of times. And when I get scared, I usually snap out of it right away, you know. And then I got to thinking, what if what happened, you know, space and time aren't what we think it is. So even though Casey told me that yesterday, and then that happened this morning, did it really happen this morning? Or did it happen yesterday when he did that? Or did he do that this morning? And then, you know, I thought he never said anything about calling my name. And so I said, when he woke up, I didn't want to go back in and wake him up. Right. Because I already felt bad. So when he got up later on in the evening, I said, hey, Casey, when you had that out of body experience, did you call for me? He goes, I might have. Why? I mean, because I said, because you said you were scared. And, you know, when the tornado hit the house, I called for my mom. She's been dead for 25 years. You know, when you think you're going to die, you call out for your mother. He goes, he said, I might have. I didn't really think about it.
Right.
And I thought to myself, then there has got to be a connection between him having that dream and then me hearing him call my name so urgently, you know what I mean, that it scared me awake. And even though he had the dream the night before, and then this happened to me that morning, like I said, my brain starts thinking about all that quantum physics and string theory and entanglement and all that shit. And I think to myself, you know, like I said, did he really have, you know, did this all happen? And I just experienced it at a slightly shift in time from when he did, but it happened together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So weird stuff has been going on for the last few weeks. And I'm not the only person. I've been talking to other friends of mine who are having periods of high strangeness and things they don't understand. I've got a friend that's talking about there's been a weird fog around her where she lives for the last day or so, and it's thick and it's causing everybody to have sinus problems. Mm-hmm. And they don't really know what it is. And then I had another friend that showed a picture of fog in a different place.
Yeah.
You know, like on the other side of the country.
Mhm.
So it's just like the energy around everything is so weird right now.
The only
Gotta be
thing
spilling
really,
over into paranormal stuff. Gotta be. We need to get hooked up and do some EVP sessions or something.
right? I'm wondering if we could run EVP sessions like, I mean, I know we've caught EVPs before on the broadcast. But like if we could do a legit EVP session, you there, me here, over the computer while I'm recording, and see if we could catch anything.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
it
know.
would be it'd be the 2 location EVP sessions. So we'd be pulling stuff from your house, we'd be pulling stuff from here, you know.
Yeah, because we've caught EVPs before. I mean, even in the intro before the show even started,
Mhm.
we've caught them when we go back and listen to the recording. And that's also happened with some other shows that I've been on. That Voices of
What did
Contact.
what did KO call your beer? You would have a beer night or something like that. Jo- Jolly Juice, or I can't remember what you told me it was. But that was like, I think what the EVP was at the time is like enjoy your juice or something like that, is what we caught before the show started.
Was he
I think it was,
already dead?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He had passed away a few years before I even met you.
okay. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. I'm still thinking about when I did the EVP session with him
Mhm.
out in the yard on the anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
I tell people the story of his death. I swear to God, people just are so stupid. I volunteer the story to help other people that are struggling with,
Mhm.
thoughts of stuff like that. And
Right.
um, some of these a-holes on the internet have the nerve to be like, you be lying. That shit
Yeah.
didn't happen. I'm like, yep, that shit did happen. You dumb little F.
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
you dumb little.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to tell people that story,
Right.
but, and I don't, I want people to to know what I went through and see I'm okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay. And life goes on and everything is cool.
Mhm.
But, no, there's some real dicks out on the internet.
There are, not just on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I don't go to Walmart.
Right.
God, we're gonna get slandered by. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry to say we're both at the age now where our social filters are very giving.
What are they? My give a fuck broke or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My id runs very low.
I don't care what
But
people think of me anymore.
yeah, and that's whatever. It is what it is. Have a
You
Coke and
know,
a smile.
I did this. The the thing that I'm going to be on that. What do they call that? The documentary, the docuseries that I'm going to be
Yeah,
on
on
a
the
part
8th.
of. That's coming up here on I think it's 7th of January on
8th.
the National Geographic Channel
I
and
made a
other
mess. I'm
places.
picking it up, but I'm listening to you.
I think one of the things that we talked about in that when I was being interviewed was, how I felt. It was kind of like one of the couch things how they do on reality TV when after they show the actual, what's going
Yeah.
on. Then later the people are sitting on the couch and then they talk about it. It was kind of like something like that when they were asking me what how it felt to talk about it in public and and all that. I'm like, when I was young, I really, cared about what people thought about me. I mean, God damn, I wouldn't go to the mailbox without full makeup on, for God's sake. I mean, I was so insecure. Didn't want to upset anybody. I wanted everyone to like me. I didn't want people, I always felt people were, judging me because I was fat anyway, you know. And I was bullied when I was a kid because of being overweight. So
Right. Yeah.
but and I actually have had people in the past. I mean, I'm talking 40 years ago, who've actually commented about, you know, why would aliens want to abduct somebody like her? Jesus Christ, look at her. She's so unhealthy and fat and blah, 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 you know? And it's like now I looked in the camera and I said, and I don't know if it'll be on the show or not, but I looked into the camera and I said, you know what? If you have to think I'm crazy and stupid for you to be able to live with the fact that this shit is real, you just go right on ahead because I don't care.
Right.
All the people in my life that I care about what they think know me.
Yeah.
They've been there. They've seen it with me. Or if not, they at least know the circumstances of everything, and they just accept it as a part of me. This is my life. It's part of my life. It is what it is. And you know, if you don't like that, you know, what do they say? Scroll on. Because I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to change somebody's mind.
Yep.
I'm just telling my story. And if you don't want to hear it, bye.
Right. Well, you know, and that's
somebody will hear my story and then they'll feel more confident that they can tell theirs.
Right. And see, that's the thing that I tell people right off the bat when we're talking, you know, about paranormal stuff. My job is not to convince you that there are ghosts and, you know, bump in the night kind of things. I'll gather the evidence and you can look at it. You make your own assumption on whatever it is you think it is or want to think it is or disbelieve or believe. I mean, I've shown evidence to people that have converted them in from being a skeptic to holy crap, that's real. And I was like, yeah, that's real. You know, I mean, we're not crazy doing what we do. Some people think so, and think it's a little odd, and it is what it is. But I don't care. You know, proof is in my evidence.
It is a little odd. I mean, I'll give them that too. And if I hadn't seen the things that I'd seen, I would think the same thing, and I fully understand it. But like that EVP that we caught, you know, the gurgles thing.
Yeah.
That I was there.
Yep.
And you were there. And I know who wasn't there. I know the circumstances of it. And all of our friends and people that we work with also know that we don't make this shit up, that we are legit do this. So when they hear something like that, they get excited about it. And that is the kind of stuff that got me doing this and keeps me doing it. There's a lot of crap out there. Just like I was looking at the videos on TikTok. TikTok is absolutely fucking ridiculous right now with this UFO drone shit, right? I mean, I've seen so many clearly fake AI, bad Photoshop, whatever, drone videos and UFO videos that have just flooded it. And it pisses me off because I'm like, you guys, you think this is cute. Mm-hmm. You think this is funny. Ha ha ha. You know, first of all, you suck at AI and you suck at Photoshop. So go back to school and learn some shit. Second of all, and don't quit your day job because you're never going to get any jobs making videos like that. And second of all, you realize you're just making it harder for the people that actually have seen shit and have recorded shit and are traumatized by it, and you're being assholes. This shit ain't funny. And like, quit putting that shit on the internet. You know, it makes me mad, and I know that they're not going to stop doing it. And it's just another fucking roadblock that we have to deal with as researchers, because, you know, people are going to be people and do stupid people shit. Right. You know, but it doesn't make what's happening any less real. It doesn't negate the thousands of witnesses who actually saw something anomalous. Yeah. I'm not saying it's aliens. I know they're drones. I don't know whose they are. And I know there's other stuff that's been sighted with these drones, and nobody knows what it is.
Right.
You know, but
well, I think that is definitely the thing, is that I'm not sure if it is us that are doing these drones, like what the end game will be. Is it, well, let's prep these people for, UFOs and kind of
Well,
see where we are. You
that
know what I
there's
mean?
definitely there's a theory out there that it is Project Bluebeam, that it's a
Yeah.
distraction for something big that's coming or whatever. But and I do believe that a lot of the actual drones are belong to us, that humans
Yeah.
made them. Somebody made them. I don't know whether
Yeah.
they're China's or ours or some super high up, further higher up than China and ours that work together, like some dark thing. They're definitely terrestrial in
Well,
origin.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, they could even be aliens that live here on Earth that make drones that come up. Although, just like I've said before, I think when I see lights in the sky,
mhm.
my first thought is, okay, that's a human manufacturer. I mean, why would a UFO? Why would aliens need lights? They sure in the hell wouldn't follow FAA regulation on lights. You know what I mean? They don't. They don't even know what it is, or they probably do, but don't give a shit. If they've been
And the
looking at
thing
us long enough.
the thing that you have to think about on that point, though, is that your background as a UFO UAP investigator and a paranormal investigator, the first rule of thumb when you have something happen is debunk.
Exactly.
What is causing that? Can it be recreated? Could it be, is that just a plane that's super high? And why does it have lights? You know,
Both
uh,
paranormal and UFO investigation require that. If you want to,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That, and 98% of the time, you can figure out what it is.
yeah,
You can figure it out. It's that
yep,
2% that keeps me coming back.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
them
the
gurgles that keep me coming
yeah,
back.
it's stuff like that. It's the what if?
Yeah.
You know, can I get that piece of? Can I get that EVP that gets those wheels turning and makes me think? The gurgles. You can't dispute that. You can't. We were the
No.
only two in that area. The closest guy to us, though, there's three people there. The closest guy to us was in the living room at the front of the house. We were on the third floor. I mean, there's no way that he could have snuck up the stairs, said gurgles, and snuck down the stairs.
No, and we'd seen him because the
Right.
whoever said it was like sitting in between you and I, and like she had her mouth on the microphone.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'd have definitely seen that dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, this was a girl and he was a dude.
And I mean, even with the hello everybody on the mic hit, I one key off on a walkie-talkie when there's 13 other walkie-talkies laying around on the same channel and all on. How is it coming through on one?
Yeah,
I mean,
the voice only comes through on one, but when you try to recreate that and you pick up a microphone and a walkie and you say something, you hear it in all of the walkies,
yeah.
but not that
Well,
time.
the pitter patter of little feet and someone saying, a little girl's voice going, freak out, dun, 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 dun. I mean, it doesn't happen.
No, and there were no little feet, trust me,
No.
around
So it's
there.
things, it definitely, I'm with you. It's things like that keep me going back for more,
Mhm.
the possibilities. Unfortunately, for me, the current paranormal media outlets that are the programs that are showing now, it started way back in the day, but I mean, when it first started off, it was just paranormal, and that's one of the things I can really say about TAPS that I enjoy them over all the other shows that I've watched is they see it for what it is. There's something going on here. What is it? Can we find it? Is there a cause for it? But as they started phasing out, it seemed like around 2013, 2014, 2015, progressing forward, everyone started watching the horror flicks, The Conjuring, The Exorcist, The Last Exorcist, shit like that. They've started, everything is dark and demented, and it's, oh my gosh, we're going into this house and we're putting our safety in peril.
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I mean? It's like now I see a lot of private resident reports of activity leaning to that dark side. And I'll go in, or the team will go in, and we'll do an investigation. I mean, we literally had to tell a person, no, you don't have a demon in your house. You have something going on, but it's not what you think it is. She got up and walked away out of the reveal.
You know what though? Here's what comes into my head. I never met this person you're talking about, and I have no idea about any of the case or anything, but here's what I think. Because I believe that we manifest so much with our own thoughts. Mm-hmm. If people are having sort of, negative things happen, I think it's important for them to look in themselves mm-hmm. and try to monitor what their thought processes are happening. It can even be subconsciously. You think subconsciously all the time. You're just not aware of it. But you can make yourself become aware of those subconscious thoughts, and you can change them. Yeah. So when somebody's like that, it kind of makes me wonder what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Not what's going on in your house, but what's going on in your head.
Right.
What's happening.
And I agree with you 100%. You manifest what's going on.
It's like I tell you, when you go on an investigation, it's important to go in there with the correct intention and the correct headset, the mindset, because you want to. You want to be open. You want yourself clear and open for what can come in. You don't want to be producing it yourself, by your thoughts or your feelings.
Right. Yeah. And it's an unwritten rule at this point too. I mean, any investigation that's set up and we're all going out, if you're in the wrong headspace, you're going home. Pack up your stuff. We can't use you tonight.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a bad thing. Everybody gets in a shitty headspace sometimes.
Yeah,
we're all human beings,
But, I'm not trying to be a brown stain in some drawers, but. The thing is you're opening yourself up to possibilities. Mm-hmm. Well, self-manifestation, and if something is feeding off your negative energy, then that'll be more likely to cause you problems in the house. Something could happen to you. You could
be the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at psychokinesis. What is that? Usually they pin that on poor teenage girls that are overly emotional and hormonal, but then, shit flies around them all the time.
Yeah.
I believe that stuff is real. I think that somehow there's physics involved in that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I know it's there somewhere. I feel it.
Yeah. It's totally something on higher than my pay grade to understand. And that's why, I mean, if you can't be okay going in, you're not going to be okay in there. You're going to possibly screw up the entire investigation. I mean, think about it. If you go in with a crappy attitude, then I don't want to talk to you. What makes you think if there's anything in this house and you come in with an attitude, being a douche nozzle, nobody's going to want to talk to you anyway, including spirit.
And negative attracts negative. Positive attracts positive. You go in there being an asshole, you're going to find an asshole.
Right.
An asshole going to find you.
Yeah.
Because just because somebody died, first of all, I think some of the things that we encounter never lived here to begin with. So I can't necessarily say that they died. I think that's some things, but not everything, but even like somebody was an asshole when they were alive. They dying ain't going to make them, all annoying or whatever.
Now,
and they may have a few life lessons eventually that they get schooled on, but pretty much they're still going to be assholes.
I think kind of in my thought pattern. I know how you think that maybe we're the ghost for them and vice versa.
Sometimes, not all the time.
I think sometimes I think about this is like, what if ghosts are the waiting room to for those that need to learn a life lesson, like a purgatory? And I don't want to go biblical, just a holding area. You know, you have to stay here for a certain amount of time, and then you go and you get recycled back into the human species until you learn whatever lesson that is that has been destined for you to learn or get right before you can go to the next existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, anything is possible. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I feel like anything is possible. Sure, why not?
Right. And then what was I was watching I forget what it was. It was a video on YouTube. I was in a rabbit hole today, and they were talking about the Hannah House.
I haven't been there for a long time.
I know, right? They had an event in August that I was really wanting to go to, and we never made it. Things just didn't fall into place. But they were talking about it being like one of the Indiana's most. This is a terrible segue, and I apologize to our listeners for this, but it just popped into my head, and I'm just running with it. Being the most haunted house in Indiana, which it's not. I'm just saying. I mean, it's haunted. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the most haunted. But they were talking about the past entities, and that was one of the questions that one of the guys had mentioned on the video. Is like, what if it's this kind of? Do you have a choice? Do you have a choice of staying here until, like you said, and like I was saying too, you learn that lesson, or do you have a choice where you can either stay here or you can transition? I mean, there's so many questions that I don't have the answers to. That one of the reasons why it fuels me to do what we do. But I don't know. It just makes me wonder, like, do you have that choice in the afterlife? Can you stay and be a ghost? And is there a time limit on that?
I hope so, because I got a list. I got some shit. Before I move on, I got some shit I want to do.
Well, you can come and we can have a chat.
You know,
just give me a sign. I'll click on the recorder. We'll do a show.
We'll do a show, and I'll be on the other side. I'll be like, "Hey,
right,
how you doing?"
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, we're energetic beings, right? I really believe that we're energetic beings. These bodies are just vessels.
Meat bags.
Yeah, my little water bag full. You know, these are just we're vessels for something bigger, and we're connected. I really feel like we are. So if somebody passes on, moves along, I think we're all still connected to each other with. Yeah. I envision like golden threads or some tiny little something that keeps us all connected. When and I think that's why we can still communicate, because we are still connected to those folks. And, you know, I might be connected to some people that never lived here before too. So maybe that's why I could talk to somebody too. But, right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you start sliding into the, you know, alien thing. But like I one time, I cannot for the life of me think of the name of the scientist that I was taken to see. And it's a very distant memory. I was in my 30s. I was already divorced. The June 30, 83 incident had already happened. I think this was in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. There was a man in Ohio. His name was Leonard Stringfield, and he was an investigator, and he did investigate, you know, contact stuff, I believe, and trace cases, which mine was one. Mm. And at some point, somehow, I was with Leonard, in Cincinnati or Columbus. I can't remember which city it was. And he took me to a university to hear a speaker. And I don't know why he took me there. He thought I would enjoy this or something. And there were other people there talking, but this one man, this one scientist who spoke, it always stuck out in my head. And I have looked all over the internet for this science that this man described in his talk. And I cannot find this shit anywhere. But it was a study of twins. It was some higher like academia study research on twins and the bond and the connection that twins have, right? And I will never in a million years forget this. He said during one of their tests, they had a woman collected her spit in a Petri dish. And then the Petri dish was like connected to electrodes and stuff, right? And then the electrodes were connected to some computer equipment that could register minute changes in her cells or whatever in her spit, And then she was connected up to electrodes, so that it would connect up to her. It would register her body temperature, her pulse, her respiration rate, and some other things on her skin, her skin stuff. And then the woman was taken out into the streets, and it was dark-ish, and it was kind of a seedy part of town. She was completely safe the whole time, but she did not know that. She was completely observed and safe. They had her walk like 2 city blocks, and they had set up creepiness, like creepy guys and strange things along her walk that would trigger her to have strong emotions like fear or anxiety, right? She was safe the whole time, mind you, but she didn't know it. So they drop her off at one place, and then she walked down a few city blocks, and then they picked her back up, took her back to the laboratory. And then they looked at the recordings that they got from the data from her, and then the data that they got from her cells that were in this Petri dish. And when she started to show signs of anxiety and fear, and her pulse changed, her respiration changed, all this other shit started changing. Back in the lab, her cells started to show changes. They were responding I don't know in what way, but at the same exact times she was feeling these feelings, her cells that were miles away from her were also registering changes. That just blew my freaking mind. And I Googled it for years trying to figure out where in the hell this guy was, what this lecture was about, who it was. I can't find shit. I haven't found anything in 40 years, 35 years. You know what I mean? And it's so weird too, because like when I met that guy on the bus, they wrote about the first time I went to see Bud and then came back from New York, and I met that man on the bus. He was called Lars in the book.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the first things first things he said to me was, well, he asked me why I was in New York. First, where was I from? Indiana. Why was I in New York? And I'm like, I just was visiting some friends and doing a little investigating. Didn't say anything about aliens or UFOs or any crazy shit like that. And he threw his head back and said, oh, the extraterrestrials will love that. And I said, what? And then it kind of went out of my head. I just went away.
Right.
And I said, where have you been? Why were you in Philadelphia? Because I think that's where they picked him up. He told me he was visiting a friend whose child had brain injury in a motorcycle accident or something like that.
Right.
And they had taken him to a place where you could regrow brain cells, and his brain would regenerate, and the damaged part of his brain was being regrown. And I'm like, that's cool. I mean, hell, I didn't know. I was clueless. So he's telling me this, and I'm like, that's cool. You know, that's cool that he's going to be okay. Yeah, he's going to be fine. I didn't know then the brain can't do that. Okay. I think it
Yeah.
can now. I think here recently I've read some stuff about, all I know is that he told me it was with electricity, somehow electrical impulses or something stimulates electrical stimulation of the brain caused the brain cells to regenerate and they could regrow in damaged areas. All right. Okay. This was like 1984. Okay.
Right.
I had no clue. I'm like, that's cool, you know, and I found out later that wasn't a thing. That shit didn't happen. Not on this planet. Anyway, but now I think I've read somewhere where that might have some potential. It's been a few years ago, but so, you know, there's a lot of shit going on around us that we don't understand or we're not aware of or we not realize, and we're connected to all of it. We are plugged in to every bit of it. And some of us are more aware of those plugs than others, you know, and that's why I'm here. That's why I do my shit that I do.
Right.
I'll drag you into it and then you get plugged in. Sorry.
That's no joke. I've seen stuff in the sky that I can't explain. That one thing over the house that I showed you is like almost a year ago, October. And then we were talking about it, I think last week or the week before, and I showed you it again. Looked just like one of those drones.
Yeah,
Like
you showed it to me.
Yeah. So,
maybe you got droned before it was cool to be droned.
Right? Or they were testing something out at the time. But I've seen some weird anomalies in the sky. My brother-in-law, when we were doing, and I've told you this story, when we were doing the paper route, sat in the parking lot waiting on D and the boys to show up because we're going to split up. We had a motor route, so it was like 50 some miles of papers. And we were sitting in the, they called it the Methodist, was it the Methodist home? Honey? She left me. Something like that, but it was an old folks community. So we're sitting there in the back of the truck, kind of waiting on them, and we're looking up at the sky, and you can see 3 distant lights. I mean, when I say distance, like the one of the furthest star out that you could see. But these 3 lights, it was almost like they were playing tag with each other. And that went on for a half hour, 35 minutes. And then all of a sudden they just went and they were gone. And I didn't start seeing this until I met Deb.
Sorry.
And right after I saw the one here at the house is when I saw the silver light ball shoot down over the top of me, down over a road into this tree line and just disappear. Now, I'm a pretty rational guy, and I feel like I am. I feel like that I try to, like I said before, I try to figure out, like, what was that? Could I recreate it? Could it be this? Could it be that? I have no explanation of even what to attempt to explain this thing was. But it was a sphere, and it wasn't very big. I mean, to me, it only looked like, I don't know, but let's say a basketball. But Lord knows that because it was ahead of me in the distance. But again, I didn't start having sightings like that until Deb pulled me into it. Now what I need right now is I need for somebody that does active and has seen Bigfoot.
Start hanging around you.
Come on, pull me into that too. I want to see some stuff like that.
You know what? I said the other day, I said to somebody about all this drone stuff that's been going on. If nothing else, it got a whole bunch more people to look up.
Yep.
And they're going to keep looking up now, and they're going to see some shit, you know.
Agreed.
And they're going to be convinced. They're going to be their eyes are going to be opened. So this is opening up a lot of people's eyes. And who knows? In the bigger picture, maybe that is the point of all of this.
Right.
How do we
exactly.
know? We
Like,
don't know.
yeah,
You know,
like we were saying before,
just to
I
make
mean, could
people
it,
look up so they don't miss what's coming.
could it be
know.
like a preemptive, let's see where they are
Mhm.
socially?
And I've said, they're like, oh, it's aliens are coming and we're going to get invaded. I'm like, have you ever stopped to think about what if they're leaving? What if they're not coming? What if they're all hightailing their ass out of Dodge? What if they're leaving? Then what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know that I think that they are. I would think they would come. And I linked in the private chat that video that I was watching today. Did I close that window already? No, I didn't. Here it is. UFO leaker Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
So
You know what? I've always thought Bob Lazar was telling the truth. He is a big split in the UFO community. A lot of people think that he's a fraud, and there was a lot of stuff dug up about him in his past and things. You're like, nobody's perfect for sure. But I also know that what the government can do to you when they want you to be disappeared without giving you a dirt nap. You know what I mean?
Right,
They can screw with everything.
Yeah.
But I honestly felt in my gut when I watched this man talk back when he first came out and George Knapp was interviewing him. I'm like, this motherfucker is telling the truth. I could feel it in the core of my bones. Sorry, you have to beat me. I really felt like he was telling the truth. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. He may be a sketchy kind of dude. He may have done some sketchy things in his life after that. I don't know. That's very possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everything that he said was a lie, because I just felt in my core that he was telling the truth about that part of his life anyway. I mean, why the hell would somebody come forward with that kind of shit back then, when then you'd have to immediately go hide so you don't get, dirt napped or out a window or some shit like that, I'm just always so it's a big controversy in the UFO world, but I personally feel that he's told the truth about that UFO stuff. I don't know what your thoughts are. Did you watch it?
I got about 20 minutes. No, wait, that's not right. It's 8 long. I think I got about 3 or 4 minutes into it, and then I had to go do some stuff. So I've not watched it all yet, but I'm going to get on it here tonight and take a look at it and kind of see. But the interesting thing is like he reveals alien secret that has NASA on high alert. So that's what caught my eye, and I'm like, wait, what? So I'm going to check it out. Check out the video.
Yeah, you sent me the link in the chat here. I'll check it out too.
Yeah.
I may have seen it before. I've seen so much shit. I've seen so many videos and clips and things over the years that I can't even remember what I've seen. Sometimes I'm 10 minutes into it before I'm like, oh hell, I already saw this.
Right? Yeah, I've watched this before.
I've seen this. Damn.
Oh, I guess I just
watched that gray matter only has so many folds in it, and then it's just like no more room to move.
Right. But yeah, it's looked a little interesting, and I don't know. I'll have to watch it, and maybe we'll talk about it on the next show as well. But I don't know, man. There's, like you said, there's definitely something going on, and I really think that if it's going to amount to anything, it's kind of let's see what happens when we launch all of these up and how everybody reacts to it before we go full on disclosure.
I don't know.
I kind of feel like that's kind of where that thought process is, and I think they handled it 100% wrong.
Because I'm personally not going to trust any kind of disclosure from any kind of government entity. Why the fuck would I trust those people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think disclosure is going to come from people just like you and me.
Yeah.
People that have witnesses, experiencers. That's where it's going to come from. And that's why I put myself out there for the last 40 years telling my story to whoever would listen. Because if it makes one other person comfortable enough to tell their story, then you know what? I mean, we're like a bunch of snowflakes, but when you put a bunch of snowflakes together, what do you get? You get an avalanche. And an avalanche is unstoppable. It'll
Right.
reach momentum and it'll reach a point where there'll be no going back. This toothpaste won't go back in the tube.
Well, I'll tell you what, when they do come and get you, you're going to have to figure out how to get a hold of me every Thursday.
I'll just have them come and get you. Shit. We'll do the show from the ship.
I'm a full package, though. We'll have to bring the dogs, the cats, the wife, maybe the boy.
Yeah.
You take one, you take the whole family.
I just saw a show on TV the other night. I'm trying to look and see if it's still in my library of recordings because I wanted to mention something about it real quick. Come on, little slow ass. Galaxy Quest. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver.
Uh-huh.
The guy that played Snape in Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of him as the dude that screwed Emma Watson over in Love Actually.
Oh, that, or you could be falling out of Nakamori Towers. He was in Die Hard.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of famous people in that. But anyway, I thought the whole idea of it was cute that the aliens had intercepted our transmissions, the shit we've been putting out for years, and thought they were actually real people. And then they turned out, and they ended up being what they played for years at the end, which I thought was cute. And I love that. And I thought, that would be so cool if someday that happened to me.
Well, what I thought was funny about that is that the aliens had been watching and listening to old recordings. So everything that was sent like in the 60s and 70s, when they first started the space program, they started sending up all these transmissions and TV shows. And that's how these people kind of talked.
I know.
And I'm like, okay. And it's weird that you mentioned that because I just saw a post somewhere where Voyager still has Jimmy Carter's signed.
I got it right here.
Letter. Did you really?
I know. Let me read it. I'll read it to you. It's very cool. It gave me goosebumps when I saw that, and I saved it. That's why.
Right on.
Jimmy Carter was the president of the United States, and this was sent out on June 16th, 1977. Yay, 77 class of 77. Anyway. And he wrote this statement, and this went up into the Voyager with this. It says, this Voyager spacecraft was constructed by the United States of America. We are a community of 240 million human beings among the more than 4 billion who inhabit the planet Earth. We human beings are still divided into nation states, but these states are rapidly becoming a single global civilization. We cast this message into the cosmos. It is likely to survive 1 billion years into our future when our civilization is profoundly altered and the surface of the Earth may be vastly changed. Of the 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, some, perhaps many, may have inhabited planets and spacefaring civilizations. If one such civilization intercepts Voyager and can understand these recorded contents, here is our message. This is a present from a small, distant world, a token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours. We hope someday, having solved the problems we face, to join a community of galactic civilizations. This record represents our hope and our determination and our goodwill in a vast and awesome universe. And then it's signed Jimmy Carter, President of the United States of America. I thought that was the coolest shit ever. Right. And I never realized that was on there in all these years.
Yeah.
How dumb am I? I realized the record, but I never realized that letter was in there. I may have seen it before, but this time I don't know. It had a different effect on me.
Yeah. Well, it's reminiscent of all movies about first contact.
I'm
know?
such a Trekkie. You already
Right?
know.
Yeah, I enjoy me some Star Trek. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Star Wars is still my jam, but I enjoy Star Trek.
Well, I thought I was going to marry William Shatner. Unfortunately, he married the wrong Debbie from Indiana. I'm just saying. But but yeah, I've seen every Star Trek episode and every incarnation of the Star Trek, brand, and every movie. I've probably seen every episode of every show a dozen times, watching it with my old man.
Right.
So, but I always remember the Prime Directive.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a real thing somewhere.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Hey, let's not mess with these people. I mean, it reminds me of, what was it? Discovery, the newer, before the Star Trek that's out now with Ansel William or Ansel Mott, whatever his name is.
The one with Catherine, whatever was it a
No.
lady? But then it was Jean-Luc Picard and number one, and
no, it's the newer ones. There's
Okay.
Ansel Mott, I think is his name. He plays the captain. Oh, shit, what is his name? Christopher Price.
Oh
No,
I know who you're talking about. It's like the reverse of Star Trek. It's the early version.
Yeah.
It's the backstory. Christopher Pine or
Pike.
something like that.
Pike. Christopher Pike is his name.
He was the captain before James T. Kirk was
Right,
Pike.
and he is in the pilot episode of TOS when they went to the planet and they thought they'd found an old shuttle that had wrecked, and they're survivors. They were old men. They're one really hot girl, and she lured Christopher Pike into the structure, and these mind controlling aliens put him in like a zoo. I've seen it 100 times. I can tell you the whole plot, and Spock was not. He was a science officer, but he wasn't the second officer. Our first officer. The first officer was actually ended up playing the nurse in the latter episodes. What was her name? She was married to Gene in real life.
Yeah.
Nurse Chapel.
Nurse Chapel, right. She actually was the voice of the computer.
The computer as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, wait. Computer stop. That's why I named my Alexa, because of Star Trek.
You know what? I tried to change that on my Alexa too, but it won't let me.
Really? You're not doing it.
How the hell do you do that?
I'll send you directions.
Send me directions, because I wanted to do that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't see where I can change.
I think you have to do it on your phone app.
That's what I was trying to do.
Really?
Yeah.
It might not. Maybe on the computer app. I don't remember. I'll find out. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I wanted to do that, because I wanted to feel Dave out.
And the only reason is because of Scotty in the movie A Voyage Home, where they go back to current century Earth, and they have to save the killer whales.
Oh yeah, I love
he's
that
standing holding like the CB handle or whatever, and he's going, "Hello, computer." And it's like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. My Alexa set or Alexa that. That's funny. Anyway, but yeah, it's I believe you're right. I believe there's a prime directive that, and that's what started the whole conversation. Where Discovery had intervened in the prime and broke the prime directive, and the civilization started growing exponentially tech wise, and they couldn't handle it and basically imploded. And I think that would be one of the let's kind of let them see where they're going to go with this. I mean, we're going to end up blowing ourselves up anyway, but let's just kind of watch and see what happens before we go, hello there.
Yeah. Or they could be our future. They might be trying to come back to fix some shit that we screwed up so that they can be better off.
See, I don't know. I follow the whole going back in time and the whole Marty McFly thing. You go back and screw with time, you mess with the future.
That's the point.
Yeah, man. But you go back and you mess one little thing up, and we're not even born. You know what I mean? I can see the paradigm shift on that would cause
It depends on which timeline. I mean, I think
Yeah.
there's
a
you know,
multiverse.
yeah.
Goddamn multiverse.
God damn, that multiverse just screws everything up, doesn't it?
And DC has got me
Shit.
jacked up with that.
Oh my God. You can
Well-
tell how well this is what we do all freaking day. Every time we get together, we just blah 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 blah, blah everything. Squirrel.
Just so everyone knows, we talk every day just about, and it's generally this is how our conversation goes.
Yeah, and even our text messages are like this.
They are. But I mean, since I did bring it up, the multiverse,
Yeah, it's your fault.
like Batman versus Superman. We didn't need to have that movie.
No.
We don't need this. I'm so off about this new Superman movie. I can't hardly see straight.
And why is that?
Because he's going to run it. He's going to run it.
Why do you think that?
Because James Gunn is a moron. Did you see the newest Batman? I mean, the shiny Twilight vampire guy, he did an okay job.
Yeah.
But there was there's something off with it. The Flash movie, I hated the Flash movie. Ezra Miller is a moron. He has no presence on screen for me. I don't understand why he got that part. They should have went with the guy that played Barry Allen in the TV show, honestly, but he didn't want to do it. But I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't have the vision that it really needs to carry that franchise. And God bless him if they quit doing origin movies. You know, this is why Marvel is kicking their ass.
I'm a Marvel girl. I hate to say it, but I'm like I am like a super Deadpool, Wolverine fan, super duper, and of course Thor.
Nobody likes you. Be quiet.
I don't care. Shut up. I'm a Marvel girl. But I am my number one. I'm like number one Deadpool fan. I've seen all the Deadpool movies. I personally, I thought the third one was the best, and I absolutely loved it. And I love Ryan Reynolds, and I fucking love Hugh Jackman, and he's hot. Sorry. The two of them, I'm telling you, that movie was fire. It was the best best opening on a comic book movie I ever saw in my life.
And see, that's the thing. See, I'm a big Ryan Reynolds fan too. And what I enjoyed, and I haven't watched it yet, but and that's on me because, like I said,
dude, you gotta see it.
Like, but I do like Deadpool. I think it's funny.
You're gonna
love the fact that most of the reports about this movie were, excuse me while I get nose deep into the microphone. I gotta tighten it up back here because it keeps falling. I keep on falling in love. One of the things that I really liked about the movie and the reports of the movie, like all the reviews and stuff that I watched, because I watch a bunch of YouTubers that do reviews on the movies like that, and the whole PC thing was out the door.
Oh hell, yeah!
You know, there was no snowflake,
no
deterrent in that movie whatsoever.
And they broke what do they call that? Breaking the fourth wall or whatever. When
yeah,
oh
they looked directly at the camera,
and all the Easter eggs that they drop, the bombs they drop are like fire. Oh, I mean, I couldn't keep up with it. I kept poking my son. He kept telling me who's this, who's that. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I loved it.
I enjoy Deadpool. I liked Wolverine. I am not a big in-game Avengers. I like Spider-Man, but I never did. Even growing up, I was always a DC kid. Superman is my guy.
That's Robbie was always a DC. He loves Superman, but,
God, yes.
Marvel has kind of won him over the last few years here.
Yeah. And see, it's not even the fact that Superman, is a man of steel and whatnot. It's just the whole storyline was cool. But the thing that really burns my loins is that every time they do a DC movie right now for the last 10 years, it's an origin story. Superman, he's sent from Krypton. Krypton blows up. He lands in Smallville. There's a meteor shower. The Kents find him. They raise him. And then there's a whole dilemma about keep your abilities a secret. Don't tell nobody. And I know this has nothing to do with the paranormal or UFOs, but it's New Year's Eve, so we're just going after it. But and even like with Batman, how many of the Batman films started off with his parents being shot in the alley by Jack Napier, aka the Joker? Movies have how many times do you have to? If you don't know already the origin stories of these superheroes that have been around since 1934,
yeah,
then you have no business watching the movie. And if you want to know the origin story, go pick up an origin comic book and get caught up. There's so much in the DC universe that they don't have to do origin stories. They can go straight, just like, and see, that's why Marvel grabbed the golden ticket when they started doing the Avenger movies. Is because
the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Gambit.
Origins. I mean, Jesus Christ. How hard is it? I mean, they went straight into stories out of the comic book, and they stuck pretty decently to the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to know how. I mean, the Iron Man movie, I understand the origin story part of that because that was movie one of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have the character progression of how it happened and where he's at now.
Right.
But they only did it once. There's not like 4 or 5 different iterations of Iron Man in the big screen genre.
And they keep throwing different dudes into the into the Batman role, and
right, they missed an opportunity with a Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He would have been spot on, one of the best Batman character iterations ever. And you know who he is? He played the dad on Supernatural. He played the bad guy on The Walking Dead. And he's done a whole lot of other movies, but he just has that voice and that persona that I think he could have pulled that shit off. And they're doing a Batman Beyond. They should have him playing the older Batman. But that's my comic book spiel for now.
I'm trying
worked up.
I was trying to think. Michael Keaton was actually my favorite Batman.
He was the comic bookish Batman that, I mean, I like that.
Now, Adam West, obviously, I grew up watching Adam
Come on,
West.
really? Yep. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But after Adam West, I think Michael Keaton was my favorite Batman.
Yeah, I would go Adam West, Michael Keaton. I would skip Val Kilmer and George Clooney altogether. Those movies should have never been made.
No.
I didn't mind The Dark Knight Rising with oh shit, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name now. Anyway, I like that. I like that trilogy. I thought they did a good job with that.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I'm not a big Christian Bale fan, but I thought he nailed the part really well.
Sorry, dude.
Right. James Patterson, I could give a shit about.
Oh, Sparkly Vampire.
I enjoyed that the movie was darker because Batman, if you go back and read the comics, like when they really started coming out and really started getting into the Batman character, they were dark.
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of the darkness of this last movie. I just don't think that he has the presence of character to be able to carry that role. Not at all. So, but anyway, I mean, like I said, I would like to see that Jeffrey Dean or whatever the hell his name, Morgan, be in Batman Beyond and carry that torch through that. I did enjoy the best part of the movie Flash, which there wasn't a whole lot of for me. There wasn't. It was. I just thought it was ridiculous because Ezra Miller can't act. But the best part of that movie was Michael Keaton coming back as Batman.
Yeah.
You know, you see him in the suit and in the bat plane, and it's like, oh hell yeah. You know, let's go back to my late teens, early 20s, and let's get after it. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. We just talk about everything tonight.
Why not? It's New Year's Eve.
It's New Year's Eve. Why not?
Last night of 2024.
I know. God help us all. I hope 2025 is a good year for everybody.
I ain't going to say
I'm counting on
about
it.
2025 because as soon as I say about 2025, it's going to be up, and I don't want to have anything to do with it.
And you don't want to jinx it, huh?
You know that's right.
Jesus. Somebody take that button away. I had one of those things once when I went to a Colts game, and I thought Dave was going to shove it up my ass. I got on his nerves so bad.
Grumpy grape. Him and a grumpy grape.
Yeah, him is. Him being. What is that? A panel? Or
It's my mixer board. It has effects that I can pre-program into the board. Like
that's creepy.
then
We need that a lot.
Yeah, potty mouth.
Sorry,
And then
I'm
there's
old.
warning
The hell's
signal. Little drum beat.
How? What the hell's wrong with us? I swear to God, I don't know why
even-
people bother even listening.
I can't even speculate as to what is wrong with us. I mean,
Come and hang out with us, you guys. We do dumb shit.
we do. Wait,
That could
there we
be,
go.
dang, that could be our advertisement.
I was late. Hey, come listen to us. We do dumb.
Oh my God.
But so, what else do we got?
I don't know. I got to pee. I don't know about you.
You better find a bottle. I was watching TikTok, and there was a video on TikTok about road tripping, and this guy had set up a little in-car urinal tank when he was driving, so he wouldn't have to stop. He would just pee in the hose. It was for truckers. Just pee in the hose into a tank while you were driving. I'm like, if I was to do that, I would sure as get pulled over and be like arrested for indecent exposure or some kind of like that.
I learned
Oh no.
in a van one time coming home from the Indy 500,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to pee really, really bad, and no one would stop and let me pee. And I had like a big gulp 44-ounce or empty cup, right? I learned that you cannot pour a 44-ounce big gulp cup full of piss out of moving van window at 60 miles an hour.
Did it
It's
splash
not
back?
possible. Science says you're taking a piss bath. you're having a golden shower, and I'm living proof. So never ever try to throw pee out of a moving vehicle. Why do I tell people this shit? I have no filter. That is just way too much.
Like I said, we are
way too much information.
Our filter window is closed. So if you can't handle it, you'd be like Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I want people to take me seriously, but I have times when I just act stupid.
Yeah, I don't care anymore.
It's New Year's Eve.
It is.
We're having fun. I'm drinking sparkling lemon and lime water. Whee!
Ooh, you're fancy. I'm just drinking regular water.
Yeah, what regular water makes me nauseous. Got to have something in it.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I agree. I've had to drink water, so I started drinking a lot of water, and I'm forcing myself to drink it.
I need to force myself to
Mm.
drink it. I am perpetually dehydrated. I drink, sparkling water or
Right.
occasionally a pop, lots of coffee and some tea.
Well,
You know,
anything caffeinated, they don't consider water.
exactly. If it's got caffeine in it, it don't
Yeah.
count. So
Now, how in the hell is that the fact, though?
because it makes you pee, caffeine makes you pee it out, so it negates anything you put in. It like, whatever you've put in, the caffeine will make you pee it back out, so it doesn't stay. It's not, so it doesn't count. So I'm probably at like 6 ounces of water a day. Literally, I'm perpetually dehydrated, and I need to stop that. I'm too old to be messing around with that shit.
I drink 6 or 8 of these a day.
Of water.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I would pee all night.
Oh, I urinate quite a bit, but I mean, and it's not like that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm drinking down. Go get another one. I'm on it all day. So from the time I get up, I'll sip on it, and
You're also diabetic too, right?
yeah,
That's the science. Isn't that a part of being when your blood sugar's higher?
it would be if my blood sugar was out of control.
But yours is
We
good.
we rein that bad boy in.
Excellent.
Yep. I think my A1C in the last one was like 6.6.
Shit, that was better than mine.
It was,
And I'm not
over,
diabetic. Mine was 5.1.
mine was 8 probably for the last 15, 20 years.
Dang.
Between 8 and 14.
Well, good on you. Taking care of yourself. That's what I need to do. That's my New Year's resolution, and I make them every year. And I do better than the average person on that. I have goals this year because I have things I want to do and places I want to go, and I want to be alive to do them. And I also want to be healthy, as healthy as I can be at 66 years old. I'm going to be 66 years old in February.
Yeah.
I need to drink more water. My daughter-in-law bought me some of these really awesome cups that are spill proof, and I can unscrew them. I like my Stanley, but I can't get the lids to unscrew with my cripply old hands.
Well, once it gets cold and it goes, shrinks, and then it warms up and it gets big again, that seal just really gets on there.
It's ridiculous, and I can't.
Yeah.
This here is always so much easier to open, but and get on the treadmill and get to walking again. I want to lose 30 pounds. And
start drinking that. Go get you a whole bunch of water and just
drink
water during the day. I'll sit here on the computer, either working on a website or working on something for the show or working emails or whatever, and just drink water as I'm doing it. And now I've done it for so long. It started when I was working from home. I would just fill up my water and go after it, but I just kind of held over. And like I said, when I'm working on stuff here on the computer at any given time, I've got a full thing of water and I'm just sipping on it.
My BFF drinks water like that too. I need to take a lesson from you guys. I don't know what it is about me and water, You
have to, yeah. I understand where you're coming from. I do.
It makes me queasy.
Yeah. You just have to force your way. You have to motor your way through it.
Now, hot water, I'm good with.
Yeah.
Warm room temperature or warm water. I've been to some Korean restaurants here in town. New Korean restaurants open up, and they're fabulous. By the way,
I want to go.
Oh my God! Is the Korean barbecue place here in Kokomo that just recently opened up across from the Hacienda? It's amazing. The food's delicious. They serve you hot water, not hot tea. Hot water. Then you sip on the hot water before you eat. And I'm telling you what, it's just what the doctor ordered. I don't know why it made my stomach feel good and was ready to eat. And so now I've been taken to sipping just hot water.
Well, I mean, if that works for you.
Yeah. But they serve that. They don't even ask if you want it. When you sit down, they bring you out a cup of hot water.
Well, you could do that in your Stanley cups. Heat up some water and put it in there, and it'll stay warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, what kind of food do they have there?
Oh my God. They have.
What's the name of it?
Let me Google it up here. Let Oop, my Googles are all crazy from my Googling here. It's called Mr. K's Barbecue. There's several Korean restaurants that have recently opened up in Kokomo because we have the new battery plant here. And a lot of the folks, most all the engineers have come from Korea over here to set it up and get it running. And a lot of the employees have come over. And so Kokomo's been trying to be accommodating to them. And we're just reaping the benefits of it. Because I'm going to tell you what, this place, this Mr. K's Barbecue, oh, it's delicious. So they got ramen noodles, they got beef bulgogi, bibimbap,
Bibimbap.
yakisoba. They got all kinds of seafood. They got seafood pancakes, sweet and sour pork.
Hey, look at that.
Hand fried dumplings. I mean, steamed shrimp.
I can't see it. Damn it.
It's delicious. Their food is delicious.
It sounds like it.
It is so good.
Bibimbap sounds pretty good. I watched some guys actually on YouTube. If you guys want to go out, and this is not a sponsored video by any stretch of the imagination, but they're the Korean Englishman is his name. And or you want to look for Jolly, Jollie. And what they do is they just do food and they make Korean trips. Like they took high school boys from the UK to Korea and introduced them to different cuisines and whatnot.
I love Korean food. I love Korean barbecue.
There's a whole lot of meals that they have that I want to be able to see this menu because I'm blind. Let's make that bigger for me.
We're looking for food now.
Korean style chicken.
Their food.
Kimchi pancake. I want some of that.
Oh, kimchi is good. I like it.
Let's see. Stir fried kimchi and pork. Fried chicken gizzards. Come on. See, when I was a kid,
I don't eat that shit, but I know a lot of people that love chicken gizzards.
My grandma was country, and she would fry up some chicken gizzards, and her and I would sit at the kitchen table eating on some chicken gizzards. She's also the one that introduced me to Braunschweiger.
I have had Braunschweiger.
Come on, man, on some saltine crackers. Oh,
I like Braunschweiger on a rye bread with.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
My mother used to make Braunschweiger sandwiches. I know what it is. Just don't tell me, and I'm good. Same thing with hot dogs. I know what they are. I don't care. I love them.
Teriyaki chicken, grilled mackerel. See, I don't eat seafood though.
That's me. I like seafood. I like the fish and the shrimp.
See, I do too, but we're too far inland for that to be fresh. And I've had food poisoning from fish.
Yeah.
I'm never doing that shit again. Wait, I'm never doing that again.
I don't really like red meat very well. I mean, I'll eat a hamburger and that's about it.
I'm a protein red meat eating American. America.
I'm a fish girl. I would probably be, if I lived alone, had to only take care of myself and feed myself, I would probably be like a pescatarian or something, like I wouldn't be like full on vegan. That's too much for me. But I mean, I would probably eat eggs and dairy, and that's what I do now. I eat mostly eggs and dairy and occasionally a little bit of fish or a hamburger patty, or a piece of chicken breast. And I don't even like dark meat. I don't like turkey. I hate turkey.
I don't like dark meat. I'll eat regular white meat, but I'm definitely a meat and potato kind of guy. But the seafood stuff, like I said, I mean, I used to be like, oh, seafood. And then I got food poisoning from perch from like a 5-star restaurant in Michigan. And I refuse it now.
I love seafood. I like fish. Orange Ruffy's my favorite. I like it baked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also like bluegill, but you got to eat 8 million of them to get full.
Let's see. They got beef bulgogi.
My granddaughter had that beef bulgogi and she loved it.
I bet. Let's see what else they have. Tteokbokki. Oh, come on. Tteokbokki is like a tomato bolognese with dumplings, and it's either beef or chicken or pork strips. Oh, come on.
I love dumplings and I love noodles. Except I
Okay.
don't like udon. I don't like udon noodles that much.
Oh,
I
really?
like ramen noodles better. Udon noodles are too thick and chewy. I don't like them. And I like glass noodles. I don't know if that's Korean or
I think that's
Japanese.
Japanese.
I think it's Japanese, but I love
Black
glass noodles.
bean.
And I like pad thai.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I get it all with tofu. I like pad thai tofu, glass noodles, tofu, sesame. I like the Singapore street noodles are fire. They're like little thin rice noodles with
Yeah.
like curry on them. They got curry in them and all kinds of veggies and stuff.
Hell yeah.
I love those.
Beef rib and cabbage soup. Oh man.
Now I'm
Next time
getting hungry. Dang it.
Next time I come up, we're going to this place, Deb.
I'm telling you, that place is fire. It is bomb. I love it.
Beef bulgogi and webfoot octopus stew.
Yeah, they got some exotic shit there.
Oh, I would try it. I would. I think my rule of seafood might go out the door because I would totally try some of this. Pork rice, tofu rice. Oh, hello, spicy pork hot stone bowl. Grilled stuff. Oh, come on, son.
They got
Yeah.
everything, man. That place.
Oh,
is
look at that
bomb.
ramen, spicy cold noodles. Oh my gosh.
Yep. That's good. It's a good place, man. I mean,
No,
I'm
that really looks
shocked
good.
that we had a restaurant like that in Kokomo and was that freaking good.
Yeah,
I mean,
you wouldn't think that Kokomo would be the hot spot for that.
It is really good. I haven't, now, in all fairness, that's the only one of the new Korean restaurants that I have been to in Kokomo. So I can't say anything about any of the other ones. They could all be that good. I don't know. But I've only been to this one, and this one is the bomb.
They don't have, from what I've noticed, what's that real expensive steak called?
Wagyu.
Yeah, Wagyu.
Yeah.
They don't have.
Yeah,
Wagyu.
I think. Are you sure? I thought I saw that on the menu
Cold
when we
noodle,
were there.
grilled, bibimbap.
Because I ain't looking at the menu you are, but I'm pretty sure I saw that on there. I think I remember saying something to Emma about that.
Like, I want to try some Wagyu because I heard that was just the legit. I'm still looking. Just bear with me, people.
I think that's the $47 one.
They know the thing is they're not showing prices on this one.
Oh, this one here. The only thing is it's all in Korean, so I can't read it. A lot of good that does, right?
Yeah, but still, they got Nagasaki seafood, jajangmyeon. I don't know. It all looks really good. Yeah, beef brisket. Where's the steaks? Or is it in the platters? I wonder. Beef tartare? No, I don't think so, bruh. Boiled pork belly. Mackerel, grilled gray sole. Oh, there it is, Wagyu.
I told you.
Yep.
I saw that. So I said something to Emma about it, and she's like, "Yeah, that's Dad's favorite meat."
I imagine he's paying an arm and a leg for some Wagyu in Beeville or B-Town or Beeburg. That's what it is. Hey, Beeburg. So, all right. Well, you've listened to us talk about food and
comic books and weird
Right.
stuff and life and just everything. Lots of TMI.
right.
That's how we roll.
So, we'll go for another 15 minutes or so, I think. Where'd Mom go? Kids, where'd Mom go?
You talking to the dogs?
Hell yeah, all the time. Fiona's getting to the point where she's answering me back. She was blowing me
Okay,
crap last night. She was blowing me crap just out of nowhere, just looking at me going, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And I was like, you. And it sounded like she was rah, 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 like you back. And I was like,
She talks back.
what? That's like, I wish I was recording that because I'd have thrown that on TikTok.
Missy does that. She did today. She was laying down in the bed next to me and Dave, and she was sound asleep. I got a picture of her. I'll send you. Her tongue hanging out and whatnot. And I
Right.
said something, and I said her name Missy, and it woke her up. And she jumped, turned around, and she went, and I'm like, bitch, what? She was
Right?
mad at me because I woke her
Woke her
up.
up. Yeah. How
I
dare you
totally
wake me up?
understood every growl that she made. And I'm like, really?
Right.
And she was like, she laid her back down and went back to sleep.
That's right. We're got about 50 more minutes, hon. I'll help you take him out. If you want to wait.
Is it raining down there? It's still
No,
raining
it's
here.
41 and cloudy right now.
It
It's
is.
41 and cloudy here in the tri-state area. Wear your coat or you will freeze your giblets off.
It's 35 and cloudy here, but it's still raining.
That wind though, man. We had like 25, 30 mile an hour gusts like all day.
We had most of the day too. Yeah, because I could sit in my room and hear the screen buffet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, oh hell. I see look out the window and I see the tops of those big arborvitaes or whatever they call them, the tall, skinny things flying around.
Trees.
Yeah.
We call them trees here.
Evergreens. I call them evergreens.
We call them pains in the asses to mow around.
Yeah.
We had like 45 mile an hour wind gusts yesterday. It broke one of our trees out on the side yard completely in half.
No.
Yep. So we've got a lot of wood cutting to do this late winter, early spring.
There's a lot of tornadoes around down
Texas.
Texas,
Yeah.
Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, all of them. They got hammered pretty bad.
They did, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The weather system is just weird. There's
Yeah.
no global warming. You
It
want to
ain't global,
rethink that
it's
statement, bro?
climate change. People say it wrong. It's climate change, and it is changing, and it is
100%.
storms are getting stronger.
Well, geez, I mean, even when I was a kid, this time, say like right around this time, there were 4, 5, 6 inches of snow
Oh,
every
yeah.
winter until I was well into my 30s.
When I grew up, ice skating on the pond behind my house every year. You know
Yeah.
how many years it's been since we haven't had a good snow up here, like more than 4 or 5 inches of snow
Yeah.
since the tornado in 2013.
Yeah.
Because right after the tornado in November of 2013, which by the way was kind of freaking bizarre, we had an F3 tornado in November,
Right.
2 weeks
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then after that 2 weeks, we had 17 inches of snow on the ground. That shit didn't melt till April.
Right.
I couldn't start rebuilding my house until April of the following year. I lived in a shitty rentals and thank you and crappy hotel rooms for 10 months.
Yeah. I remember.
After that, because I lost everything. And that was crazy. And that was the first time we had snow. And that's been the last time we've had, a few inches. It looks pretty and then it melts off the next day. Nothing
Mhm.
like we used to get.
Yeah.
I would venture to say I wouldn't have been able to skate on that pond for the last 15 or 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't
Easy.
frozen hard enough to be safe to do that. And we did it every year
Yeah.
when I was a kid back in the 60s.
We was out shoveling snow all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shit's changed. But also one thing I've also noticed, which makes me nervous to fly, is that I've noticed the incidences of turbulence in aircraft has gone up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I personally, when I've flown, the last couple of times I've flown, I've had worse turbulence than I've ever had. And I've flown a lot and I'm
Yeah.
familiar with turbulence. And I usually, the last time we had turbulence in the plane I was in, if I hadn't had my seatbelt on, my head would have went through the top of the fucking thing and I probably would have broke my neck. It was that bad.
The tray in front of you?
I screamed and grabbed the guy's next to me hand, and I didn't even know him. And as soon as I did it, I literally screamed and grabbed this poor strange man's hand. And as soon as I did it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he goes, don't worry, honey. Don't worry.
He's like, it's okay. I kind of peed a little too.
Let me tell you, that turbulence here it's getting worse. I think the jet stream is a little batshit crazy right now.
I'm not arguing that point because I think you're right for sure.
And I think flying is going to become more risky.
Well, I don't know. I would say risky. It's ridiculous, and I don't want to.
I hate to fly anyway. I hate it.
Yeah. See, I don't mind it. I don't mind flying at all. I kind of dig it. I think it's pretty cool. But they're charging so much for it now, and then there's so much. There's just so much bullshit.
There's a lot of hassle with TSA and a lot of hassle with people acting like assholes on the planes and planes the overbooking and everybody's missing their flights and flights being canceled and all that shit. When I first started flying, it was fun. When I first started flying, 40 years ago, your family could walk you right up to the gate and hug you.
Right to it. Right to the door.
They could sit and watch your plane back out of the, and fly away. And everybody was kind and nice and everybody was on the plane. We dressed up. Back then, when we flew, when we traveled, it was a big deal. And you wore your nice clothes. You didn't wear flip flops and barefoot and shorts hanging out and all this, we dressed up because it was a big deal. And people don't have the respect for it anymore. They don't respect their flight attendants anymore. They talk to the flight attendants like shit. And
that's a lot.
Never dreamed of doing that before.
No, not at all. And that's a lot of all the snowflake millennial bullshit that's going on. The Gen Zers and millennials, and if I'm hurting your feelings, it's just too bad. But and I understand because it started really getting bad around 2015. Well, I mean, it really hit the fan in 2001 on September 11th, and it never recovered. But
the world changed on September 11th.
But you go through having to deal with TSA, and then you get on board, and you're sitting down, and the stewardesses or the flight attendants are being assholes too. And I mean, I understand though the clothing because one, I want to be comfortable, but two, if you get pat down, you don't want to have to strip out of everything.
Yeah, but see, back then you didn't have to.
No, not at all.
TSA, there wasn't any of that security shit. You just went to your gate with your family and you kissed them goodbye, and that was it. You could even smoke on the plane. Not that and I was a smoker back then, but why they thought the last 3 seats of people smoking was not going to impact the people in the front when you're in a little tube in the sky, it makes no sense. But whatever. You used to be able to smoke in the grocery store and the doctor's office too.
Right.
That's a whole other show.
Doctors were smoking.
My doctor was smoking. I remember my mom taking me to the doctor when I was a kid. Her and the doctor were both smoking, and my mom coughed, and she's like, I really need to give these up. And I remember hearing the doctor say, oh, they won't hurt you.
Right, yeah.
Times have changed. Some
Surgeon General approves these Camel and Lucky Strike non-filters. 20 years later, it's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It's bad.
Yeah, I smoked for 25 years, but,
Yeah, I did too.
I don't know more. It's been over 20 years since I quit, and it's the best thing I ever did.
It's been
and I'll tell you another thing.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19 years for me.
Cigarettes don't taste the same as they did when I smoked. Something changed. They put shit in them cigarettes now that wasn't in there when I smoked.
Hell yeah.
Oh, for sure.
100%. 100%. So, all right, check it out. We're coming down to the bottom of the hour here on Midwest Paratalk Radio. We want to wish you guys a happy new year.
Happy
Have a
New
good
Year,
day
everybody.
tomorrow. Don't get blasted tonight and go to jail. Nobody wants that.
Oh, be safe. Be smart. Be safe.
Right. But I mean, if you're
Don't
listening
drink
to
and
the show,
drive.
chances are, yeah, if you're listening to the show now, chances are you're not going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, because
You'd already been there. But
yeah, because it's all like 10:30 now. What are you getting right? I'm fixing to go fix me another drink and go flip on the TV and watch more Twilight Zone marathon up until about 10 minutes before the ball drop, and flip over and then flip back and then flip into bed.
All right, we're going to finish watching Grown Ups 2. And it's only 9:30 here since I'm an hour behind you.
Oh, yeah. It's like 10:30,
So,
10:25 here.
Once that's over, then we'll do something else. I don't know. I might go in there and get some snack to eat. But
yeah, now I'm hungry. I think I'm going to rummage around for something to eat. Now you got me hungry after talking about that Korean food.
I wish there was a way you could transfer or teleport some of that my way.
I know, right?
I know.
It was delicious.
It looked really good. So yeah, the next time we're up that way to do an investigation, which I really want to do, Asher Walton. Now that I don't want to go back to the other place. But
next time we have a show, we'll be talking more about paranormal stuff. But it just was a fun, like, let's just hang out and do some.
Let our hair down.
Let's just you ain't okay. Let's just hang out together on New Year's Eve.
Right.
That's pretty much what this was, just a hangout.
Yeah, for sure. And I love when we just hang out and
yeah, me too.
I love that.
Oh my God. Sounds like Morse code. So many.
Right. Ding 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 must ding 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 go ding 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 p ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, you have a great holiday. We'll see you next Thursday night for Midwest Paratalk Radio. I don't know if we'll do it at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, or if we'll do it earlier, or we'll do it during the day and replay it at night and just hang out in the chat in the evening. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can hit me up, gcable@midwestparatalkradio.com, debcobble@gmail.com. And so thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We hope you have a good night, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Deb.
Bye. Bye, Deb.